What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MakeMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm talking about the 35th anniversary of Sea of Love. Sounds like a ride at like when the when the carnival comes to town and you're like, oh, I want to go on Sea of Love. Let's go. Let's go. How many tickets does it take to go on to Sea of Love? It's a thriller starring Al Pacino, Ellen Barkin, John Goodman, Michael Rooker, and yeah, it's about a killer who is stalking people through the personal ads. Back when people used to date through personal ads, I feel like we have to explain concepts to young people now because they don't understand what they are. So before you swiped left or swiped right, there was personal ads, or they had like weird video dating services. Uh, those are weird too. Um, Mad always had the great Lowered Expectations. It was a spoof of those. Lowered Expectations. I remember those. Um, but yeah, somebody's luring these people through the column, and he sort of tries to go undercover, and he meets Ellen Barkin, who basically picks him out as being a cop like right away. He's like, "No, I'm not a cop. I'm a printer." And I was like, "That's a terrible job to pick." I mean, I guess it's a good job because everybody's like, "I don't know what that is. What do you do?" You know, like, but pick something that feels like Al Pacino could actually be doing for a living. You know, what do you do? I'm a high school basketball coach. That's why I yell a lot. I have to. um. Anyway, uh, so she kind of calls him on that, and then it becomes sort of like this exploration, and then it's one of those movies where it's like Basic Instinct, where you're like, ooh, I don't know, is she dangerous? She might be. Get out of there, Michael Douglas. Get out of there. You know. um, and his partner's played by John Goodman, who brings levity to the film, to a serial killer movie, um, which is fun. A great actor who's never been nominated for an Oscar, by the way. Can we just like take a moment and just John Goodman's never been nominated for Academy Award for anything ever. Anyway, so yeah, it's well, that's sad, but this is my first time with Sea of Love. I wanted to watch it because A, it's on an anniversary year, B, I like Al Pacino. And I've heard of the movie before, so I thought maybe like this is, I don't know that this movie stood the test of time. I feel like this one is one that has maybe some fans that are trying to like keep it alive, keep it floating above water in the sea of love. But I don't know that it necessarily, the problem is that Al Pacino's done a bunch of other movies. This doesn't necessarily have an auteur behind it that has the kind of film legacy behind it where people are jumping into it and they're trying to like, it's not a Scorsese movie or something like that where people are like, I'm going to see every Scorsese movie ever made. Um, so it kind of doesn't have any traction except for people who are just really into Al Pacino, because I don't think there's anybody who's exploring the career of Alan Barkin, John Goodman, Michael Rooker, you know, all the way through. So what's keeping this alive for me is the fact that it had audio description on Netflix and it was an anniversary release, so I watched it. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, with the way that audio description floats, it could float off of Netflix by the time I put out this review, and then never to be seen again for 10 years with audio description. Who knows? Who knows? Somebody recently, I reviewed The Shadow, and I was like, you're just gonna have to wait for it to come back around. I'm sorry. I don't always put reviews out the same day that I record them because I watch more than one movie in a day. Yeah, anyway. It's this is fine. I was never really pulled into the suspense. I was never really pulled into these characters. Everybody here has been better in something else. if I'm being hot honest on that. I mean, this is not even in Al Pacino's top 10. Uh, Ellen Barkin's been better in things. John Goodman. Like, if this was John Goodman's Oscar nomination, I'd be happy that he had been nominated, but also sad that it was for Sea of Love. When you really look at his body of work, when you're like, okay, so we didn't nominate him for that, or that, but we nominated him for this. Cool. Um, so it doesn't really have any of those vibes to it either. But what it does have is some fun audio description, especially in the horny scenes. I love when there's a description when they're like starting to make out, Pacino and Barkin, and she's like humping him. Well, I love that. I was like, because they're still like fully clothed, and I think he was turned around, so it gave me just like a fun visual of like Ellen Barkin like humping the backside of Al Pacino. Because it does mention that he turns around or something like that after that, and so it made me realize that she was like humping either like his side or his back, and just sort of the, you know, when I put visual imagery, that's the thing about me is I used to be able to see, and now I can't. So like I'm putting like old images of Al Pacino and Ellen Barkin in my mind and filling in the gaps in that scene, and to me it was funny. But this is fine. It's not, I don't think it's not a bad movie. I just am not super excited about it. And standing the test of time, I think this one is treading water right now, and its dog paddle time is almost up. I think with time, this movie's just going to continue to lose more and more steam. Um, as we get more and more movies, and people continue to talk about more and more of the important ones, more and more of the, oh my God, you have to see this. I think this one, you know, if it had more awards stuff attached to it or something, that would keep it alive, because people would be like, well, I have to watch all the things that have ever been winners of Academy Awards or something, but that's not this either. So, yeah, it's just a pulpy 80s cop thriller with a serial killer twist to it. So I'm gonna give Sea of Love a B. I thought it was fine. I don't ever need to really see this again, but first time in, I'm trying also not to do that. Oh God, it's old. You know, so I'm trying to be like, in 1989, in the context of 1989, yeah, B. So anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.